Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Batman 183. This comic came as a request, and I've been itching to read this book because this is the second appearance of Poison Ivy. And for this book, the print date on it was August 1966, so you can kind of start to see where the old Adam West Batman show starts to influence this book. Now, what I like is this little bit of a mystery here on the cover where Robin's saying, "It's the hotline, we gotta go, Batman." He's just like, "Not tonight, kid. I'm staying in the Batcave to watch myself on television." And it says, "Holy emergency! What's the real reason Batman's goofing off?" The telltale clue is in the cover, and it is. You just got to really pay attention, because I looked and I was like, but it doesn't make sense till you read the book. So let's dive in. The writer on this was Robert Kanigher. The penciler was Sheldon Moldoff. The inker was Joe Giella, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, and the letterer was Gaspar Saladino. And I just love this old style. And what's awesome too is the first appearance of Poison Ivy was 181. So basically this is the second appearance 2 issues later. And I'm glad that they bring you up to speed on what's happening. So of course they have these old intro title cards, which I miss because it sort of brings you in and sort of gives you a heads up on what to expect. But these first few pages, other than, well, we'll start here, is where it says Bruce Wayne dines with luscious beauties. He's like, "You look like an angel cake, Trina." And he keeps seeing Ivy, no matter what girl he's with. He's like, what do we need an orchestra for, Vicky? We make beautiful music together, giggity. But then it turns into Ivy. Same when he kisses Gilda, he still sees Ivy. And so that jumps to the first confrontation they had with her, where it says, "The millionaire sportsman recalls his last smashing encounter with the contagious villainous gang and his secret identity of Batman, aided by the bubbling Robin." And just again, the wordplay. I missed that little makes your tongue dance. The bubbling Robin, the contagious villainous gang. Just fun. I missed that. But it shows how Ivy tried to escape in the encounter. Batman gets her. Ivy kisses him. Like, no wonder she had you spinning, Batman. Poison Ivy's wearing lipstick with a chloroform base while she's probably wearing a nose filter. No wonder they call you Smarty Pants, but Batman wouldn't have been able to resist me anyway. And we see how they left her in a jail cell, and that's essentially the end of issue 1. But Dick can still see that Bruce is reeling on the thoughts of Poison Ivy. And it's not until that there's a crime that he's able to pop back into, like, get to his senses and jump into the fight. And this is a word. So real quick, little anecdote here. Do you guys remember Pee-wee's Playhouse when they'd have the word of the day and they'd go, "Ah, ha, ha, you said the word of the day, ah!" Well, here, this is kind of a creepy word of the day, but again, let's remember, this is 1966, but Dick here is swinging and he goes, "It's a pleasure to see you back in the groove again, Big Daddy." And he tends to use that a little too often. So every time I kept hearing Big Daddy, I was like, he said the word, Yeah, anyway. So we get in, again, beautiful old school artwork. I mean, it's gone a long way since, but just kind of seeing it in this style, still very awesome. And awesome to see Dick Grayson as Robin instead of Nightwing, which, don't get me wrong, love having him as Nightwing too, but yeah. Now we get back into Ivy, and she's like, "Will you please deliver this mirror locket to Batman? I've repented of my ways, blah, 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 blah." And she goes, "Batman doesn't know it yet, but that little gift is going to send him flying here to free me." And then we get past ads. He's like, "What a gal. I send her to prison and she sends me a gift asking for forgiveness. Robin, Poison Ivy is changing." And I love this deadpan joke. It's like, "Into what? Poisonous mushrooms?" And it's a picture of her with these sayings that kind of just begin to really mess on his psyche. She goes, "Hello, lover, stop stalling. Get me out of prison so we can enjoy the loot we're going to stockpile. Get me out. And you just, "Get me out, get you out." And it causes him to falter. And so we're not seeing the Dark Knight, or is that like how they call him here, what is it? Not the murdering manhunter, something like that, the menacing manhunter, something like that. It's a cool little saying. But yeah, you see how Batman is not Batman. And regardless, it finally Batman has to confront her. And another thing about Ivy from this time period is we're used to her being green, manipulating plants, But in these first few appearances, she hides stuff in her hair. Like she goes, my hair is my utility belt. So she pulls stuff out like she has explosive hair. Random. I'm glad that got retconned. That was kind of silly. But anyway, Ivy pulls this really kind of pitiful attempt, but it gets Batman to free her. But of course, it ends up putting her back in jail. And Batman finally, for the most part, clearing his mind. She goes, you tied my wrist with the rubber tube while you were kissing me, you traitor. And I just love how, is this the end of the contagious villainess? Is Batman infected for life with the changing, clinging beauty of Poison Ivy? Only time and future Batman issues will tell. And as I was saying at the beginning of this review, how you can kind of start to see the Adam Westness kind of seeping into these books. I love to know the name of the announcer who did the Batman show back in the day. He had a way with words and he really sucked you in. And again, the 66 Batman was a show that I watched as a kid. But it's like, will the Batman survive this? And he kind of had this inflection that just caught your attention. And I keep hearing his voice as I'm going through these books. And then again, there's always a backup story. And this is the one that is reflecting the cover. Batman ends up in a trap, and there's a fake Batman that is trying to now take care of Robin, which gotta get past the ads once again. But there's one thing that's a telltale that gives away how Robin was able to discern who this Batman was. I don't want to give it away. If you guys can notice it right here off the fly, let me know, and be kind of fun to talk about down in the comments. But Batman shows how he escapes, how Robin was tipped off to know that the Batman that came back at was a phony and whatnot. And I was talking to one of my buddies, Supertron, who's always helping me with little tidbits of information with the DC line. He said this was one of the first books that showed continuity. So in terms of, I think what he was saying in terms of like, not every issue kind of being standalone, like we get this continuation of Ivy, and then the way that Robin's able to find out how this Batman, the Batman that goes to the Batcave with him, is not the Bruce Wayne that he knows. And it's very kind of glaringly obvious once you see it. You're like, oh, and it's just saying this guy has not noticed something in 5 years. And so that was that first time of continuity. It was very cool how they did it. And it's just a very interesting, entertaining, action-packed comic book. With a little bit of tropey corniness aside, I enjoyed it for what it is and the time period that it was in. So guys, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost, if you have the ducats, go to your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to pick up your comic books and grab yourself a copy. And if not, see if you can find like one of those facsimile editions, because I was able to get an old first appearance of Poison Ivy, and then I also got a facsimile edition for my son for when he gets older. So there's always those options or collected trades. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Poison Ivy bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have a bat-tastic day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.